Thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and back again. Your heart is true. You're a pal and a confidant. And if you threw a party, invited everyone you knew, you would see the biggest gift would be from me, and the card attached would say, thank you for being a friend.
Hey everybody, welcome to Golden Guys. It's JD here. Good having everybody here on today. Let's bring in Knights. How we doing, Mike?
Good. How you guys doing? How you doing?
Good.
You ready for Halloween? All the kids ready for Halloween?
Kind of. We're to kind of decide right now. You know, the one with the 4-year-old can't. She's was Elsa or whatever, and now it's Starfire. So she got into Teen Titans. So that's
and
what it
Pace
is.
Pot? Your Pace Pot?
I'll be Pace Pot Pete again, probably. Yeah, I've done it before. I've been Pace Pot Pete, and we've been some obscure one. DS is he'll be with us in a minute. This is horrific. Well, there he is.
Yeah, I'm here. What's up?
What's going on? How are you, buddy?
I'm good. I'll tell you, I have come to a standstill here, and it's really messing with me because I ran out of Silver Age bags and Golden Age bags and silver and gold boards at the same time, and I have a new press coming that I don't have yet. So I feel like I can't get anything done here right now. Horrible.
First world problems, huh?
Yeah, right. Whatever.
Well, let's bring on our guest right now. Let's just bring on Anthony.
I have to break out those.
Spider-Man does whatever a dealer can. Spins a deal any size. That good stuff he will buy. Look out, here comes the Snyder Man. Comic art, comic books too. He's got collectibles old and new. At a shop or at a show, got stuff to sell, he'll come to you. Hey there, here comes the Snyder Man. It's a thrill to buy. Need stuff day or night. The expertise is high, and the price is just right. Snyder-Man, friendly neighborhood dealer man. Got the art you're looking for, making you happy is his.
There we are. Let's bring in Anthony here. I think that got cut off at the very end right there. Anthony, how are you, my friend?
I'm good. It's fun to see that because I don't listen to it very much. My friend Chris Palmerini put that together, and he's still working on it. So
that's good. It was
Thanks
fun.
for playing. Cool.
Oh yeah, oh, that's good. So, anybody pick up anything? Anybody want? Knights, you got anything you want to show? I'll just want to show.
I found a cool collectible. I was just going through my garage, and I hadn't seen this since the 90s or maybe 2000s. I don't know. I don't remember even where I got this thing, but it's one of the
Fight Club soaps.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I was Tyler Durden when I was about 40 pounds lighter one year, and I had those. I had that soap for Halloween, and I was just real drunk, and I don't remember what happened. I'm not going to remember. I was a totally different person, but that was 15 years ago, maybe. Yeah.
I'm actually friends with the guy who wrote that scene for the movie.
Oh,
Andrew
really?
Kevin Walker wrote that scene. He put that in, and he's a big comic art collector. I sell him stuff, and every time I'm out in LA, he'll buy me lunch. He's a very nice guy.
Very cool. Yeah, we had Chuck on. I think Mainframe. We had Chuck on, the writer. I don't know how to pronounce his last name correctly. Padernick. What
era of selling did you meet the most cool people? 90s?
What's that?
Like what? I wondered what era of time when you were selling did you meet the most interesting like clientele? in the 90s?
Oh, no, I wouldn't say 90s. No, I'd say the 2000s.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
cool,
because well, I mean, there was one guy. There was a couple big clients in the '90s. You know, a billionaire trust fund baby. That was good to know. And you know, David Mandel, who's writer producer, just won an Emmy for Veep. Huge collector of original comic art, high end guy. And then Andy's been around, buying John Buscema stuff. He loves John Buscema stuff, and he's been around for a while. And when he sells a screenplay, because it's like when he sells a screenplay, he's flush and buys stuff, and then when if he's in between big sales, he's quiet. But he actually wrote a Silver Surfer spec script with Bruce Willis as Norrin Radd way before Marvel Studios was around.
Yeah.
And he let me look at it back in the day. That was pretty cool, but it didn't get sold. It was before Marvel Studios.
I bet you Galactus wasn't a cloud in that movie.
No, this guy has a real love of the source material. Yeah. I mean, and that's what really turned the corner for Marvel Studios, because, they kind of found people that had that love and, for the source material, and turned that whole thing around. Disney Plus has the Hall H Marvel Studios promo thing where they're talking about all the Disney Plus TV shows that are coming out. Right. Have you guys seen those?
I've seen a few.
Have you seen that?
Yeah,
that was really exciting. I mean, actually exciting.
I mean, they're literally talking about making almost continuously live new shows all the time. I mean, they want people tuned into that network forever. And Netflix took a bath today. They just canceled another show. It was just a bad day for Netflix. It dropped like 5% in the after hours. Just the dropping. Yeah, people are just.
I own one share of Netflix just to follow it, so I got to look at that.
Yeah, had a rough day.
You got any stocks, DS? I wondered if DS had any stocks.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a little. I don't have a whole lot. I've got some. The one I'm most excited about is 3D printer stocks. I feel like that's a technology that has a lot of room to grow. So I've invested recently in 3D printer stocks. Some of them are fairly inexpensive right now too. I don't know. 3D printers seems like it could be a nice hit here in the next decade. So
Are they printing metal or are they printing plastic?
My stocks.
Yeah.
Timely stocks.
Timely stocks.
Yeah, right.
Golden Age blue chips.
Timely stocks are good. It's like Johnson & Johnson, It's always been steady, Timely's always been the good one. None of that speculating on your faucets. So
I always told people that asked me if I was involved in the market, it's like I'm too busy rebuying merchandise, comic collections, art collections, to get involved with the stock market. And I did this year when the shows were slow, and I was sitting there watching Fox News and Maria Bartiromo, which I have an age-appropriate crush on. And
she's the money honey. We've been calling her, we've been calling her that since 20 years at least. Yeah,
I did.
Yeah.
There was some Marvel Silver Age keys that I was missing. A few of them when Disney bought Marvel, and then I bought them like right away just because I felt they're only going to go up.
Yeah, I think Marvel. When did Marvel Studios, like 2000? The first Iron Man movie. I bought my TOS 39. Yeah, my second copy.
And people thought it
that. And now, I was like, man, I can't believe it's this much money. Now it's like 5 times, 10 times that amount. So anyway.
Right. Well, I tell people all the time too that Iron Man was a third string character. I mean, it didn't sell.
No.
You know, and that TOS in low grade was, you know, a few $100s.
Yep.
You know, that Marvel Studios really, you know, activated that character as a you know, as a property, and you know, certainly you know, to spearhead the whole Avengers initiative.
Yeah, I mean, it literally. I talk about that book kind of like it's own entity. It had its own history because Journey 83, people always wanted. It was always there. Hulk 1, AF 15, Fantastic Four 1, X-Men 1. Those were always popular. The literal run of the redheaded stepchild of that bunch was always TOS 39. You know, it was always
Yeah,
TOS
if you think
39.
about
And
Iron
then-
Man, though, I mean, even in after TOS 39, you got the Silver Age, the Bronze Age, Copper Age into the 90s. There's like two keys in that whole 4-decade run, basically, and so there's not a lot of like new characters being introduced or keys that brings more people into that title. So it doesn't.
Yeah.
Not a lot of interest being generated in Iron Man over the decades that followed his introduction. I mean, you got like Iron Man 55, and then
Yeah.
that's it. Really, that's the
And
only
the alcohol one.
Yeah, what's that?
I'll tell you, I had a high grade of that.
128.
Like,
What's that? 128.
Doesn't sell, man. I mean, even the alcohol one, unless you
Yeah,
have
the alcohol ones. It only hits triple digits if it's a 9.8.
What about number 1? Didn't that go up?
1 is a good one.
Yeah, I mean that's
That's
gone
it.
up with TOS 39 a little bit, but I mean, look at like Surfer 1 or Submariner.
Oh yeah,
Iron Man
Submariner
lagged
one.
behind even those premier issues.
Yeah, even Cap 1 is a yeah. The thing that I always said about Iron Man, it's just his best stuff was Tales of Suspense. When that was going on with Cap and him in separate stories, that was good stuff. When they both got their own, neither one really. You know, until Ed Brubaker's run in Captain America, there really wasn't a good run. You
Well,
know,
I think
I hate to
Iron
say
Man-
it, you know?
I remember
The
reading Iron
movies
Man in the
were
late
good.
80s, and I thought it was fun, but it was never like, oh, I can't wait to get the next Iron Man issue that comes out.
No, I
When
was
I was
never.
picking up the new Thor issue, and
Thor,
then
I always did.
there I would get it and read it. And I always thought Iron Man was fun, but it doesn't have any, you know, it doesn't have any first appearances or big keys to draw people into the title very much. So I just think it's sort of stagnated for decades.
His villains were really weak later on. I mean, when Rhodey took over, there's a few good ones of that. Their annuals. I'll tell you this: the Iron Man annuals, I did like them. Because they were kind of different, off the cuff stories where you didn't have to read everything. I like the Iron Man annuals. I like when who was doing a lot of that stuff. You know, the late 80s, early 90s Iron Mans were kind of cool, but that was about it. I mean, it was just cool stories and stuff. He was more 80s, you know what I mean? There was no 80s when he was written, so the whole Playboy and everything else like that, you didn't really have a reference. When the 80s were just done with, in the 90s, we had the reference. Everybody became Iron Man, you know? That was the big thing of the yuppie was Iron Man, you know?
Well, other than Iron Man
Or
55,
Tony Stark.
you'd be hard pressed to find a big book that involves Iron Man outside of TOS 39. And then you got Iron Man 55.
Black Widow.
Now,
Yeah,
now,
Black Widow. That was a joke book.
like 4 decades.
That was a joke book back in the 2000s. It was one of those. Yeah, it was cool to have. I think the cooler books were like 64 was a cool book just because it was the first time you had Hawkeye in there and Black Widow, and you had all these different characters in there. I mean, there were some good ones in there, but
it's good stuff. Nothing heavy hitter that draws a lot of people into the title, though.
yeah, I mean, nothing like X-Men did with Claremont and Byrne. That is whatever 94 up until you get to the whatever. Just
Yeah, and then you get titles like Fantastic Four and Avengers, and they've got first appearances of popular characters and villains left and right through Silver and Bronze Age. Just every other issue for Avengers and FF is like first appearance of something, and you know, those are popular teams or popular teams and popular titles, but they bring a lot to the table on a regular basis to get more people involved. But Iron Man, it just sort of drags on for decades with nothing. It's like Thor, for the most part, honestly. After the Journey run, there's not a whole lot going on in Thor. and into the Bronze Age, there's nothing. I mean, it's cool. I love Bronze Age Thor.
It's the
but
best
there's
run.
not
Yeah.
a whole lot going on outside of the Thor stories. You know what I mean? There's a few crossovers here and there, but nothing really substantial.
It was fun. I mean, those are some of the best. I always said, like, this is a weird thing to say, but I love the Avengers. But if you go by Bronze Age stories of the Avengers, and if you read the Defenders, I might be telling you a big spoiler alert. The Defenders was way better. They were more badass than the Avengers were. The Avengers were always changing people in and out, and Defenders did too, but mostly it was the same. It was just a different group. It was just real weird.
That's my favorite stuff. That's my favorite Bronze Age stuff is the early Defenders issues.
It's by far
And all the stuff I've gone through and all the art that I've sold, the stuff that I kept was the early Defenders pages and the Avengers Defenders pages. And the ones that were Sal, and the Sal, Buscema, Frank McLaughlin pages. And then in the crossover, the Avengers Defenders War, they had like, what was it, Bob Hall and
Bob Hall was the editor, and Bob Hall did some of the artwork. But that
John
was doing one. You had 117. I think the Avengers Defenders War starts at number 9 for Defenders, and like 117.
Yeah,
117-ish for. So it's like November of '73 was when all that stuff was going on. And the Avengers Defenders War was so much more badass. And then Hulk, everybody's like, look, Hulk's on another Avengers cover. I'm like, yeah, it's the first one since number 5. Okay. That's how, Hulk has never been an Avenger other than one issue. The first one. That's it. He was a Defender forever, and he was so much more badass.
Well, 1 and 2, he was still in there, but 3, he turned.
Yeah,
with
2
the Samaria, right?
No, 2 was in 2. Hulk left the Avengers, and then the Phantom pretended he was there. Yeah, Bob Hall did a lot of the late Defender runs in like the mid '80s. About 10 years later on, Bob Hall was doing the Avengers, the West Coast Avengers, and the whatever the Defenders were, but those were really good. I actually always said that the Defenders and Avengers Infinity, like the war between those, that's your first crossover of like massive kind of comic book where everybody was in it. I mean, you had Hulk fighting Thor again. That's the famous Defenders 10 cover. That's
that was great.
That's one of them.
I only got 2, and I don't think I need any more.
I have all of them.
That number 1 is a good book. That's really, that number 1 is more popular than Marvel Feature 1, which is the first appearance of that team.
Really? I got a great copy of that. I didn't know.
Yeah,
that.
no, but the Marvel Feature 1, I've had a few copies.
It doesn't register with people.
I know.
I mean, when I have Marvel Feature pages that feature the Avengers, they'll sell because Bill Everett inked them, not because it's Defenders. And then I have people, some collectors like, well, break something out, because I did keep about 50 pages under 10, as far as Defenders pages. I actually sold like 4 splashes, but because can't keep everything.
Yeah.
But the early Defenders pages, and like I owned the Vision versus Silver Surfer cover for about 10 years. That was on my wall. Yeah, until somebody made me an offer I couldn't refuse.
That's 122.
No, like 117 or 18. But the interior art to that issue is just horrible. It's just you can't even look at it. And I've had pages from there, and I didn't even want to keep them. They were just horrible. Horrible. I forget the credits on it. I think it was like Hall and Coletta or something.
Yeah.
And they're just.
There are some Vince Coletta stuff that I know he gets bashed everywhere, but there's some things. He's tough. But I was going through the Avengers Defenders run. I talked about that a lot, and on a few other ones I said that's the made me into was getting 118 of Defenders, which was a almost conglomerate cover of Hulk and everything on it, and then it goes right to Defenders 10 is right after that. So it kind of is like a Thor Burst of Defenders, and then all the Avengers get into it. It's pretty good. You gotta read that. It's a good.
You forgot this one.
Which one's that? Hang on.
Mhm.
Oh, that's the great Bob Layton cover. That's a great Bob Layton cover. I mean, it's one of my favorite Bob Layton works right there, and it's just it's just a cool book right there. All right, so anybody have anything they wanted to show? I know DS, you have some stuff before
Yeah,
we
I
get
got
into
two books. Yeah, so over the weekend, I went and picked up just one box of stuff. It was a really random mix, but it had a few Golden Age books in it. I got the box for cheap, so it had some cool stuff. I was like, why not? So I'll just show you a couple of the Golden Age ones I got. Nothing spectacular here, but just a cool Harvey PCH Black Cat 46, I think. I don't know, cool. These Harveys are really always have really good colors, so they're always worth picking up if you get a good price on them because the colors are just always so good on these Harveys. But yeah, that's a cool one. This one has some issues, but it's sort of like a upper tier PCH book. Is Weird Mysteries 3, Bernard Bailey cover.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's nice. Some kid colored in the face and the sword.
Okay.
But other than that, it's complete. And I don't know if that counts as color touch because it's colored in the white parts. I don't know what CGC would call, but anyway,
I had a guy draw faces on all the ants on Tales of Suspense, Tales to Astonish 27, and it came back ink on cover, but it still came back with a blue label.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe this would be blue. I think it's like a 2.0 overall.
Yeah. That's how. Yeah, I ended up getting like
not bad for a big book. It's kind of an affordable copy. This was in there. I don't collect romance books, but I tried to research this, and I can't find any sold of this anywhere on eBay, Heritage, GPA. There's none on the census, so I think it's probably pretty scarce, even though it's not some major romance grail, but it's a pretty scarce one. And it's kind of cool. She got the teardrop coming from her eye.
Ken Bolt got that Brenda Starr thing going on, huh?
Yeah, so this is Romantic Adventures 13 from 1951, and it's low grade. It's probably like a 1.8. Cover's detached, and it's got a lot of issues, but yeah, that was in there. And then I don't really think this is worth anything, but this is the first Dragon Lady in the title, and first issue of the title. Yeah, kind of cool little Golden Age thing.
Carrying the Pirates. That's a pretty good
year.
I can't remember. I have to look at it again. And then I picked up a book on the eBay auction, which I don't have yet, but I like to give you guys previews of it.
Wait, is she a villain or a hero?
She's like a female, glamorous, good-looking pirate lady. So I think she's
bad.
She's bad, but she's like a likable villain, sort of.
Like a rogue,
a temptress.
Yeah, exactly.
She's a temptress. She's evil, and she's trying to sway him to the dark side.
So she's a woman. Oh, I can't say that. I'm sorry.
And then so I put this on an eBay auction yesterday, I think. So I haven't gotten it yet, but I'll give you guys a preview. A book I've been looking for years. Really tough to find this book, and I scored a nice copy for a really decent price. And it's Blue Bolt.
Nice.
Volume 2, number 11 or something, 1942. It's a robot cover.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
Just never seen that. Early Blue Bolt book, and yeah, I thought that was cool.
Who's the credits on that book? Who's the credits on it?
Oh, I can't remember. It might be one of these uncredited ones. I'm not sure.
By the way, I just got the dirtiest look from my wife, so I have to apologize about what I said. She wasn't
right. I'm glad my wife didn't hear that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it.
Oh, she heard that.
I just grabbed some. I grabbed the Silver Age run. Yeah, she's giving me a look now. Just 3 books I just really liked and want to share. They're nothing special, really. I just think they're cool books, and if you're interested in getting cool books, this is one of my favorite. It's not a Golden Age, I know my rule, but I just want to show it. It's one of my favorite covers. It's number 72. I love my first copy of it, but this is a little bit dustier, but nice. Could use a little bath, but it's one of those that are good.
How would that go with the Avengers Annual, one of those first ones? I feel like it's a very similar.
Annual 2. Yeah, it's a similar thing. Different people, but yeah, that's a good one. That's the original 4 and 5 versus Cap's team. Yeah. This I just pulled out of
My job is Hema.
Yep. Exactly, and this is a great John Romita right here. This is one of my favorite comics. I just got a really nice copy of it. Had a little mark of some looked like tape was on there, and the guy pulled it off. But I looked at it, and it's just a really complete. I mean, not just complete. It's just a nice copy. Probably can use a little. It needs a press for sure. These were books that haven't been looked at probably since the 80s. And there's a small back of them, nothing really too crazy. Some more Fantastic Four, some Silver Ages. There is some good ones in there that I probably am going to some keys, but those all around that era. So think of that era. So 73. So not really mega keys, but around that time. Actually, the hymn book is in there. FF 67. I guess.
Yeah, the book's undervalued as hell.
Yeah, considering with
You know, they call it a cameo, but if you read that issue, he's in the cocoon, but he's in a large part of the story, and he speaks and interacts with other characters from the cocoon. I think it's legit. I mean, you don't see him technically, but I mean, there's a progression from the cocoon to the him to the warlock, you know, and it's bigger of an issue. It's more of a key than people think because it's not just some brief cameo. It's not like a Hulk 180 even. It's bigger than that.
You're right.
Which book are you talking about?
67.
67. The first appearance of Adam Warlock. It's
This
kind
one?
of a,
Yeah, that one.
yeah, that's a cool one.
Yeah, that's a nice one.
There you go, 180 right by it.
I got a 180 this week and 85.
Yeah, nice.
I
I
remember
remember you got it for $10.
why do I have all these strange
I actually owned this cover at one time.
Oh,
It was such a mess. It was so full of whiteout that Romita had just like he basically had painted over it and then re-inked it. It's like it was so unattractive. I sold it. I could kick myself. But, ugh.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of people pushing for 180 to be where 181 is. It's never going to get there. But
Why? It's cameo. It's last panel. It's teaser. It's why would that be the first appearance?
but what about Mark?
No, I mean, but there's this whole movement pushing for 180 to be up there with 181. It's never going to happen because yes, teaser. Yes, we all know he's actually there on the last panel and he actually talks. But people want the first appearance and he's on the cover and he's in the whole story in 181. It's never going to get there, but there's this movement. People really are pushing to get 180 up there. It's not ever going to happen.
No.
I don't think it will. Yeah, and that's sort of the reverse. That one and the Forever People 1 is sort of like the flip.
I'd way rather have Forever People.
Huh?
Oh, that's like the Teen Titans one. First
Forever
appearance, Teen
People.
Titans. You know?
Yeah, I mean, and you know, FF67 is a cameo, but it's more of a cameo than the 180. So I think it should be bigger than it is. 80 is much bigger than FF67. They're not even comparable books, and I don't think the 67 is way better. Yeah, on the TV. Yeah,
you
terrible.
You gotta understand the hymn that we have in the Thor 165.
that sells for more though. That sells for more than Forever People 1. And he's only on a TV screen. It's not even really him.
Yeah, he's not even there. He's on TV.
That one sells for more than the first appearance. So go figure.
Well, then there's that argument that Iron Man 55 isn't a Thanos because it's not. It's a robot.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's not Thanos. He's
So
not
what's
even
Thanos' real first appearance?
Captain Marvel 26.
Ooh.
Not even 25.
Is 26 the one where he's in the helicopter?
No. The helicopter, that's electric company.
No, he's in the window. I remembered that one. Yeah, he's in the window.
Hanging out the window. Yep. He's hanging out the window. That's technically the first Thanos. He's a robot in one, and then he's got a cameo in the end of that one as well. I mean, there's a Thanos in it. Jim Starlin did draw him. But that's what I talk about Warlock, him. Technically, I think the true Adam Warlock isn't until Starlin starts writing it. But
Too bad it wasn't this cover.
That's one of my favorites. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's the badass cover of that whole run.
Yeah.
When you deal with the Warlock, though, it's not like Wolverine where he's nowhere and then all of a sudden he's there. with
Yeah.
Warlock, he evolves. You know, he's the Cocoon, and then he's a him, and then he's Warlock, and the Thor 165 is the one sort of in the middle. You know, the Marvel Premiere 1 is where he's Warlock for the first time, and FF67 is the Cocoon, but he speaks from it throughout the story, and then both of those 67 especially get ignored, and the Thor 165 is the big book. And I think it's because it's a major title and he's on the cover, where FF67 just has a Cocoon on the cover. Marvel Premiere
Also a black cover versus a white cover.
Stuff, and that's not as cool, sort of. I don't know.
The Thor cover is a cooler cover.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's also a black cover and it's harder book. I mean, I've always argued those two books, saying that they kind of should be the same, 1 and 1A.
I'm fine with the Thor being the biggest, but I think the FF lags far behind where it should be.
Yeah. Well, there's some books that I look at that are even, if you're a Doctor Strange fan, I mean, there are some that are like, okay, that's the true origin story, but you know,
I'm a huge Warlock fan, but I don't even care about those first appearances, other than they're cool because I like them.
It doesn't get good until Starlin starts writing.
Yeah, because Starlin is the man.
Yeah.
He made it.
Wrote that character. It was a terrible character.
It was a throwaway character that we'd never even pay attention to unless Jim had gotten it. And put him in the cosmic sort of realm because he didn't want to draw horses and cars, he says.
Yeah.
He put him in space because he didn't want to draw horses and cars.
Well, he could draw the space scenes. I'll tell you, the Marvel premieres, the Starlin stuff with Warlock, the Bronze Age Starlin Warlock stuff is fantastic. Fantastic. Yeah. It really, the Silver Age Kirby Thor stuff, the cosmic, it's just so well done. It's just
it's one of those things that I think that one of the best teams I ever saw, and they lived together. Well, they lived by each other. I don't think Al Milgrom lived in the building, but was, if you want to know what Starlin did great, look at Shang-Chi, the first appearances of Master of the Kung Fu and some of that artwork in there. That is Starlin, not Cosmic. That's Starlin and Al Milgrom, and a team that made some of the best artwork. Rivals, like it's not trippy like a lot of his. I mean, it is trippy because that's because it's, you know, it's those guys, and it's 1973. But it's you know, that those books, the Shang-Chi and everything else that Jim Starlin did is very underrated artwork, in my opinion. Anthony, I don't know if you've seen it. It's just there's so much action going on, and it's not like a normal Starlin where you think it's cosmic and, you know, everything. Yeah, actually, who was doing Daredevil then too? Because they wrote in some Captain Marvel the same time. I wonder who did Daredevil, because that was
in the 70s, probably Gene Colan, maybe.
It was 106,
One issue.
106, 107, around then. Blind Man's Bluff.
I think it was Gene Colan, but I'm not 100%.
It was getting passed around a little bit there. I think Don Heck was doing some of them, and
it didn't have like a regular person on the title, so
yeah. But Master of Kung Fu, I had a chance to buy some pages recently. That, you know, they were Zach, but they didn't have the exact. I mean, you know, there's the dream team that Zach has, like on Master of Kung Fu, but
yeah,
they were another inker. But I mean, you know, people did have an appetite for them. They did sell.
Yeah, I would think Zach stuff sells pretty good. Is that right? He's a pretty good artist.
Oh yeah. You know, Zach, Captain America, and Master Kung Fu, but people want the right inker on them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Anyway,
I mean, like double, like double, triple, the right inker.
Right.
Yeah. So,
Anthony is. Let's see. Anthony's what we want Anthony to show us is some of the stuff that's going to be available on the Baltimore. We're doing a Claim It sale. What day is that?
Thursday
evening. Thursday evening, we're doing it here.
It's sort of the kickoff on the mainframe programming. We got. I don't know what specific time yet that we're going to start, but I'm going to be broadcasting or streaming from my store. I'm going to clean out my store and put up some racks and I had a wheeler dealer friend of mine come by, Patrick Sullivan, and he dropped off like 75 books. And, I'm going to have my stuff. And there's a couple other guys that are going to drop stuff off. So I'm looking forward to what else I can offer. Some of the things.
And
What's that?
Legend will be hosting that as well.
Well, yeah, sure. Hey, he can pump up the books.
Oh yeah, he really does a good job with that.
Here's something I'm going to offer. It's
That's a great job.
Rare Magazine 9/8.
Wow. I mean, I'm a big fan of collecting Savage Tales of Conan. 9/8s are almost impossible to find.
Yeah. When I saw it, I had to do some kind of deal with it. Because it's just hard to get 9/8s on magazines. Yeah. It's like, it's so rare.
I have 9 shoes and 9/4s that I'm happy with, I'm ecstatic by getting 9/4s on some of my creepies.
That's the most you can expect. I mean, there was one collection I got about 10 years ago. A collector in the area passed away, and he had a storage space of magazines. And his family sold me the whole storage space. And he had the best, Warren stuff ever.
Creepies and Eerie.
And Creepies and Eerie's and Famous Monsters that I got 9/6s, 9/8s out of, and got serious money for. Serious.
Wow. Really good stuff.
Yeah. I mean, people were calling up saying, "Oh, how about $8,000?" I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
It's like, so here's a signed McFarlane
ASM
300 signature series. There's a couple shots of me with Todd in my theme song.
Yeah.
And I did an hour-long interview with him once, so that's on my YouTube channel, Anthony's Comic Book Art, Selling Heroes. And here's another one.
9/6.
Nice.
9/6 CBCS.
Hottest book on the planet right there.
You notice the hottest books in the world are the first villain appearances?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like these days.
Yeah. I mean, and like I have some other newer stuff that I got consigned today for the sale. And it was like, oh, this is the first gore, from the God Butcher from Essad's run on Thor.
Yeah.
And talking about Thor earlier, it's like, Thor has had some big splashes, with Essad's stuff and what Nick Klein's doing with Thor right now.
Yeah.
That's like the biggest thing in comics that I hear of.
Yeah.
And especially art sales. I hear Nick Klein's Thor art is selling really well. So
yeah.
I got something really special, Golden Age wise, that I'll save. But this is, for all you. I know. This is a high grade, romance book. It's from 1953.
We got a lot of romance.
Who did the cover on that?
Romance has really picked up. I've been buying out a person's collection, and he had a lot of romance stuff, and it's selling really well, like really well.
Yeah,
and
I've been thinking that for 3 years now. Yeah.
The art, there's some, Win Mortimer pages, kind of rigmarole, but then there's some like Frank Langley stuff that like he had no business doing romance art and comics, but he did a few issues, and it's just really beautiful stuff, and that's selling really well.
Who was the cover artist on that Love Journal?
It was Love Problems.
Oh, Love Problems. A lot of problems.
You got love problems?
Yeah.
Read this comic. You'll get your advice. Bob Powell, Jack Sparling, John Serta. Name guys. All name guys. Yeah. Now is this? Oh no, it's Harvey. Yeah, I was thinking it might have been the Kirby Simon and Kirby. Blue Beetle.
Blue Beetle. Original Blue Beetle costume. Nice.
Yeah, #1, first
Nice.
appearance, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, first Silver Age appearance.
First
Yeah.
Silver Age, yeah.
Yeah.
They put
All
his
right.
costume back to the Golden Age. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was doing my I do daily video updates now on my YouTube channel and on Facebook, and I had a whole rack of comics that we're gonna be auctioning, and I noticed like, oh, all these hot books are first villain appearances. You know, it's like Null and God Butcher, and even down up to like Sabretooth and.
Yep.
And Spidey 300, it was like first appearance of his major villain, and Venom was the villain. It's like so it's obviously these writers can come up with good villains, but coming up with a good new superhero is really hard. So now this is I'm going to show 3 more things, and then this is another first appearance of Mademoiselle.
Nice.
Mademoiselle Marie, yeah, right?
Okay.
The French resistance, sexy Nazi killer that we love because she kills Nazis. Yay.
Is that George Evans?
Let's see. Might be that Italian guy. No, it's Grandinetti. Yeah, the Italian guy.
Okay.
Her first appearance, I think, is a couple issues before that, actually.
Oh, no, that's not her first appearance?
From my memory. Not to be Debbie Downer on you.
Oh, okay. I thought it was is this her first cover appearance?
No, she's on the cover. I'll look that up.
Okay, I made a mistake with that. I was thinking it was the first one. I'm sorry.
No worries. We don't care.
Yeah.
There's two things here I've never had before. And they're one of them's, I've never even seen these before. Okay? So here's an Archie giveaway.
Whoa.
It's Archie, Your Official Store Club magazine. So this was a mailer.
Okay.
It's got the guy's address on the back.
Nice.
And it's Kennedy's something, clothing store or whatever. But I've never even.
What year is that? What year is that?
Smelled this one before. 48.
Oof. Really, that's weird. I don't even know how you price something like that.
Yeah, I gotta research this one. It's like.
Who's our Archie guy? What's his name? Mr. Gretzky. Gretzky, you're in the chat. Tell us about this book. What do you know about this? The Wolf Whistle. In this issue, the Wolf Whistle. Check that out. He's a big guy.
And I have no idea who did the art. The art looks really kind of, I don't know, generic in a way. Maybe the client had, because it was a giveaway, maybe the client had somebody else do it besides the regular Archie guys. And then this is something special.
Mr. Gretzky says, I don't have or have ever seen one of those Archies. And he's our Archie.
Yeah, there you go.
And he's got a lot of them.
And you're an Archie guy and you've never seen him. It's like I've never looked for it, but I've never had it as a dealer. And I've never had this book as a dealer. Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, look at that.
Look at this.
Daytime.
Look at this.
Oh, look at that.
Wow.
That is a
this is I've never even seen it at a show. Never even seen it.
Wow.
So
look at that for MLJ. That's definitely our MLJ appreciation. Look at that. The Shield.
The first cover appearance of Archie, basically, where this company turned the corner from doing these knockoff heroes that everybody was trying to do, There was like a dozen companies doing knockoff heroes, right? Nice. And, and that was, pretty historical in a comic sense because, once they went to teen humor, they actually became the largest circulating label,
There's,
and,
I was
the more they produced, the more they sold.
I don't know about er,
Here,
late
Sharon, model this one.
early 2000s, I was at a con talking to one of the Archie guys, one of those crazy Archie collectors or Archie fans and whatnot, and they were telling me that you don't understand. There was art as big as Star Wars figures were, and they were on everything in the 70s. He goes, anything Archie, everybody bought. Everybody was big into Archie. So look at that. What do you got? Oh, what's that one? Stars.
Oh, is that Mademoiselle Marie's first cover?
84.
84. Okay.
I used to have a couple copies of this.
War Stories. That looks cool.
Well, that's definitely
Very
one of the
cool.
good ones.
Very, very cool.
Wow.
He saves the American.
I heard Archie and had to come in here. I was like,
Oh,
first appearance of Archie, and I was like, what? I gotta see this.
Yeah.
Yeah, because girls and when were you a kid? In
The 70s.
late 70s, early 80s. That's the only thing girls read was Archie's and
Betty and Veronica, yeah.
Yep.
Betty and Veronica. So
Who's cooler, Betty or Veronica?
You team Betty.
Betty.
you're
Team
Betty.
Betty.
She's a Betty girl. Yeah,
Team Betty.
Veronica was the spoiled rich girl. Like
Yeah.
Veronica's mean.
Yeah.
oh, sometimes you got to be mean
You
to
gotta
be.
be a mean girl sometimes.
So that's my wife's cameo appearance.
First cameo.
Nice.
First cameo.
Nice. So what do we
So I got to figure these out. And
What's your favorite comic? What's
Do you
your
have
favorite
That's
comic you
mine.
got?
That's mine.
that's mine.
she's
That's
taking-
mine. I'm gonna get a blue bowling ball. That's mine.
There you go.
Yes, you are.
Especially tonight. Okay, well that just came in today,
Nice.
and then I got 3 other boxes here, but I don't.
You want
I
to
think that's
Hey,
show?
you said you had some cool 70s covers. I wonder if you had any by this man, Gil Kane.
That's Gil Kane,
yeah,
right?
of course.
Yeah.
He has
They're so
everything,
good.
Gil Kane.
No, I had them. I've
So
moved
good.
them. I mean, I was at a church show in the 90s, and this slender, eloquent-looking the man comes up to me wearing a silver suit, and he goes, "You want to buy some art?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure. How much are they?" And he's like, "Well, I want to sell the whole pile, and I want $200 a piece." And I couldn't cover that kind of deal, and it was Gil Kane, and he had a stack of covers, like a foot. It's a stack of covers.
No.
Yes.
Uh,
Oh no.
So
No, that was a lot of
I
money
heard-
back then.
Did
Yeah.
do you know anything about his shenanigans at Marvel when he left?
Guild shenanigans?
Everybody
Mhm.
says shenanigans lately.
what was going on?
Well, I don't know.
Go ahead.
This is kind of. I heard people talking about it, and then they were kind of like, we probably shouldn't talk about this. But it sounded like when he left Marvel, he was pissed, and he walked away with a bunch of artwork. Not necessarily his.
It's
I
possible.
don't know.
I know
it's
that.
it's a common story. Guys, I heard Sunday night about a family member of a DC Hall of Famer saying, "Oh yeah, such and such walked off with all the everybody's stuff." It was sitting there in files unclaimed, for people just to take it. Really, it was a different atmosphere in respect to it wasn't valued.
Well,
It wasn't valued.
there's a feel good story from that era. Just so all the news isn't bad news. In the 90s or something, it was at a point when art was valued a lot, and maybe it was even early 2000s. But I think it was Buscema called up Steranko and said, "Hey, I got something for you," and it was one of his covers, and he just gave it flat out to Steranko as like, "This, you made this, it's your," because he like left Marvel at that point, Buscema, I think it was Buscema. It might have been Senior Romita because I get those two mixed up. But Steranko talks about that story, and he was like floored because at that point in time, that was worth thousands and thousands, and he didn't have to give it to him. So I thought that was a cool thing, that he did.
Do you? One thing I wanted to ask you, Anthony, about art that you ever come across, if you ever do, has Ditko Strange Tales, Doctor Strange stories been around lately? I mean,
not lately. I owned a 119 story at one time.
118. I'm looking at 118 right here. It's just some great Ditko. I mean, I just get floored, and I'm a big Buscema fan. Don't get me wrong, but there's something about Ditko interiors and Doctor Strange. And this is with like Loki, and it's a different looking Loki than what Kirby would draw, but it's just ridiculously good stuff. I love it.
Hey, DS, I know you don't like original art because it's not color, but if you could get some, what would you pick?
Really, the only ones I would consider getting right now, just because of the cost, would be, and this would be way outside of my range, would be like a Bernie Wrightson piece of something from an interior bronze horror Wrightson art would be cool. I really like Norm Brayfogle covers and interior art. I wouldn't mind picking up a Norm Brayfogle piece of art, and those are more reasonable. Like I could legit score one of those now if I wanted. They're not. Some of them aren't that expensive, especially by like some of the stuff that he did with Anarchy. Some of the Copper Age Batman interior stuff might be rough, but
he did a lot.
Well, the Batman covers have come up a lot. I know one transacted at the last art show for I think 7,000-8,000 in that range.
Wow, that's not bad. I mean, I could swing a Brayfogle cover then maybe. I just really like Brayfogle, but when it comes to art, I like the color on it, and I don't have this, like, space is at a premium for me. I don't have space for original art, and it's a lot of money, and I'm really devoted to comics, and I don't have a lot, so I stay really with blinders on. I stay super focused on just like Golden Age. But if I branched out, I would like to get a Wrightson piece of some kind. Even maybe like a Nick Cardy piece would be cool.
Yeah.
Louis Dominguez from Bronze Age would be cool. And Norm Brayfogle. Those would be the ones that I would go for right now. But I'm not huge on original art, but those are a couple that I would legit get.
Well, there's two things
Nick
I want to
Cardy
talk about. I want to follow up with that. Is today would be Nick Cardy's 100th birthday.
Oh,
and I featured some 3 covers. I have the Super Sons cover, a Batlash cover, and a new Ghost cover that I just got this weekend. I love Nick Cardy art. He's one of my favorite all-time guys, and I especially love the hero covers where he would mix in the horror. He was doing horror covers and hero covers, and then he would do hero horror covers.
Yeah.
Like at one time I owned the Superman where there's a voodoo witch with the voodoo doll stabbing him in the chest, and outside he's flying by going, I love stuff like that. And then I bought a ton of Luis Dominguez art from this collection that I've been buying from because he was a very prolific artist. He just worked constantly. I think he was one of these. I think he was really OCD about working, and he did a lot of DC covers, a lot of horror covers, and I've had a few horror covers lately, and then I have a lot of his personal. Well, not personal, but his initial professional work from Argentina, Spanish language stuff, and story illustrations and advertising. And then on into a lot of painted paperback covers available. And he's very capable painter, very good feel. Kind of a little fuzzy sort of Vaseline lens on his women. You know what I mean? Yeah. And but some great women stuff. Like he really appreciated women. He had a lot of mental problems, mental health problems toward the end of his life, and this guy actually helped take care of him. He was institutionalized, and this stuff, unfortunately, but Luis Dominguez, man, he was a great talent. I think he qualifies as a great talent.
You don't ever hear much about him in the Bronze Age. Everybody looks for Wrightson and Adams And then Nick Carty sort of gets thrown in there at the end. And people forget about Louis Dominguez for like Bronze Age horror, and his stuff is top notch. His Bronze Age horror stuff, especially, is really quality stuff. I never hear anybody talk about him. I never see any of his books sell for that much. That way, it would be real cool to get a cover of his. That would be
I've always put him up there with Mike Plug. I always put him up there with Mike Plug as another artist that I think doesn't get enough. Yeah. I think Mike Plug is just the best of the Marvel. I mean, Neil would work for Marvel Bronze Age too, but you know, some of them cross over. Bernie did, and you know, there's a lot of crossover there in the same names. But one of the other names that definitely crossed over for sure, one of the best ones though, if you just look at it, was Mike Plug was just there, and Barry Windsor Smith. I throw him up there too. Barry Windsor.
I have a Mike Plug story. You want to hear my Mike Plug story?
Yeah. Any Mike Plug stories are good.
All right, so it's a Mike Plug art story. I mean, I never met him. I mean, is he British?
Yeah, he's overseas. I know that.
Yeah, and then he went into featured, animation and feature design and stuff like that. So, I mean, his body of work in comics is very limited. He's like a Steranko, he really didn't do that much, right? That you can really get a hold of. Anyway, so this was in the 90s, early mid 90s, and Carbonaro appears at my door, and he's got 3 pieces of art. He's got a Pluto cover, a Disney Pluto cover. 2 of them are Disney, a Pluto cover and a Gyro Gearloose cover. Gyro, is that how you remember how you say that? You know, that the duck that was really an inventor. And he's got the Mike Plug Werewolf versus Dracula cover.
Oh, nice.
They were $75 a piece. Okay. I bought them all. And at a show, in the church show, I think I sold it for like $250.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
But I still have the Pluto cover.
Nice. Yeah, well, there you go. Of course.
Oh, yeah, my God.
Yeah, Plug's from Minnesota, if I remember. And,
but, it was always my, intention to cover deals. To go, I'm going to cover the deals for my 2 Disney covers with selling the horror cover. Oh, I don't really like horror.
Yeah. But then, think about Plug. Plug did Werewolf by Night, Ghost Rider, Monster Frankenstein. Those are the big ones. I guess he did.
Yeah, sure.
And then, after that, he went and he did like all the post-production for like movies like Ghostbusters and Lord of the Rings and shit and everything else. He was just one of those guys. Like, he's still alive, but he doesn't do anything with comics.
Yeah, I do have a rights in Ghostbusters set design piece.
I remember you. Yeah, that's a cool. Yeah,
I got to find it though. I think my wife cleaned it up and it went to. I got to find it. What'd you do with that one, honey?
Okay, this is supposedly legit. I don't have any idea, but it's supposedly a Mike Plug oil painting on eBay, original.
Wow.
Oh yeah, I did that card set. He did a card set like Wrightson did. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't deal in the actual art, but I mean, the starting bid is $12.5. I feel like that's not outrageous for a legit Mike Plug original oil painting, and it's a pretty good one.
That looks cool.
Well, I don't know, but I mean, there's one on eBay, so it's a real nice piece, and he looks like, for a painting, it's pretty detailed and
That's detailed. That's awesome.
yeah, I mean, it's very detailed.
Mm.
And then like the background with the house.
Why don't you get a chair and sit down?
Creepy feeling to it, and it's got
It's like Gargamel's castle.
Yeah, it's cool. I don't know.
Shout out to Anthony Perdue, who's just signing up. Nick Hardy did a great run on the Cars strip in 1950. He also came back and he says Mike Plug's artwork on Ralph Bashkin's Wizards was a highlight of the film. I've seen that. Talk about that. And Gyro Gearloose is the Duckburg inventor. There you
Well,
go.
if you're Greek, you got to say Gyros.
Gyros, yeah.
Not gyros. Gyros.
Gyros.
Right, honey?
Didn't that guy do like thousands of pages of Savage Sword of Conan, or am I thinking of a different guy?
I've had hundreds at least. You could say hundreds, yes.
Yeah, and that used to be real cheap. That used to be cheap too.
Yeah, it's come up. I mean, John Buscema didn't like doing superhero stuff. He liked doing Conan. He liked doing, warrior guys in armor, swinging sword. He liked sword and sorcery stuff.
His first jobs was drawing fighters boxing matches in the late 20s, early 30s, before he went to comp for when he was 16, 17. And then when he was 21, Stan gave him the job. In the late 30s or mid 40s, Stan gave him a job in 48 to do Abraham Lincoln story. But a lot of what John did beforehand was boxing and fighting and hand-to-hand combat. So superheroes didn't come till way late in his career. And he did Thor really good because that's kind of physical still with right there. But John's Conan work and Savage Sword is absolutely ridiculous. Ridiculous. So detailed. Especially
there's some stuff I have in my personal collection.
Yeah.
That I love looking at the most, and I think it's John's. He did a graphic novel of Conan, and he did it on large art, and I buy them wherever I can find them. But it's John Buscema inking John Buscema, and it's the graphic novel. What was that graphic novel called? I can't remember. I have a few pages of it, and I buy them wherever I can.
Not the elephant or the...
No. But he did them on large art, and it says graphic novel on the top of the pages, and I forget the title.
Was it for Curtis?
No, it was Marvel. It was Conan.
Oh, okay.
Conan graphic novel. It says
so
on
it
it.
would have been, Curtis was Marvel, though. Because Curtis did Savage Sword.
But John Buscema inking John Buscema is just like, that's...
Yeah. Oh, it's good. Have you ever seen it? Then Savage Sword gets underrated because you got Ernie Chan in there too, doing a lot of pages as well, which was great. Well, do you have any art you're gonna bring to the? Do you want to show anything else? Any other Golden Age stuff you got coming up for the auction?
I have 4 boxes sitting here, but that was the highlights. Those Archies, those 2 Archie things were. But I got a lot of like modern variants and keys and stuff like that. There's a good selection of stuff from $50 on up. So I want to have stuff for everybody, and then I'm going to sort some stuff out. And I got a fun art deal in today, but that's not going to be part of the auction. I got to figure that stuff out.
Nice.
You want to bring me that art from the channel?
I'll be doing it Thursday. Again, Thursday we're doing the auction, or the Claim It Now, I guess it's going to be. Make sure you tune in here. It'll be really cool. Anthony will be doing it.
With Legend.
With Great Legend will be the host, and get him out of retirement to host something again, which is great. Is that the Forever People, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's way better.
I've had copies of that so many times. And
it's cool. I forgot that Superman was in it.
Yeah, it's a good book. Not a bad book. Forever People wasn't that bad.
Yeah, that's way better than that Superboy 134.
Yeah.
Look at that cool last panel. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Can I show some art?
Someday
show some art.
That dark side.
Now we're gonna.
So this deal, I got in this deal today, and can you see that?
Dave Cockrum.
I gotta look up the credits on this. It's Spider-Woman 34?
We'll look that up.
Might be Cockrum, yeah.
It's a great upper right panel.
The best kick-ass Spider-Woman page I've ever had.
How much?
I haven't priced them yet.
1 million.
I got to figure that out. These are unpriced yet. I haven't I gotta figure it out. I paid a lot for this batch of art, a lot. So
Look
Is
at
that the
that.
same book? What is that?
no, this is a Legion of Superhero page,
Ooh.
and this is from the Giffen era, but I guess Giffen, he like would.
It's Mike Esposito did the Superman, Spider Woman. Mike Esposito.
Esposito is an inker. Who did the
Yeah,
penciling?
he did the finishing. The penciler was Trevor Von Eden.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But you also got the cover. It was Bob Baransky and Joe Rubenstein. But yeah.
Okay. So
Mike,
anyway, I got a
nice.
couple really nice Legion of Superhero pages. This one's by Broderick.
That's
and,
great.
This one's by Bender and Patterson. Patterson was a great inker on Zach.
nice.
That other
Who
page
can draw
was,
hands like that? Nobody.
Mhm.
that other page had so many characters. It was like a Perez page. It looked really great.
Right?
Nice. Oh, who's this?
Yeah, who's that?
It's stuff you want. Mike Grell, Green Lantern.
Oh wow. Matty Thanatos. Somebody want to message him about this one?
Who is that character with the ears like Batman?
I don't know. It's like but they're trying to beat on him, and he's like invincible, and then he beats up.
And we have the sound.
Oh, you know what? He's like some kind of merging JLA guy.
Blood and walk.
He's got Flash stuff and Batman stuff and Wonder Woman stuff. So he's like an amalgam character and Hawkman wings. So he's like a JLA. What do you call it?
Uber hero.
Here's a Marshall Rogers Doctor Strange page
Yeah, that's a great doctor. That's a Sanctum. Yeah, that's a nice page right there.
with Clee, and then this panel right here is a flashbacky panel.
Nice.
Flashbacky.
That's Starlin-esque.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
See, my lovely assistant should be modeling these pages, but it's hard to do on this. This is a really
That's a
nice 2-in-1 annual.
Annual is it 2-in-1 or a Brave and what was the other one they did? The Amazing Adventures or
No, this is from. I had to find this too because I wasn't sure, but it's from 2-in-1 annual.
okay, nice thing in Black Bolt.
Yeah, look at that panel. That's awesome.
that is cool.
Good stuff.
I
Yeah.
think that's the best.
I like to get that colored in.
I think this is my favorite of all that we've seen.
Now, anybody guess who did this?
What year?
Sylvester.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. That's awesome. Yeah, it's kind of it's a Silvestri cover.
Nice. Oh, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Wow.
Is that an actual book that came out?
Is that his first cover?
I don't know. I gotta research this stuff.
I need you to show this.
Sylvester was doing stuff in early 80s.
I got a couple Cloak and Dagger things going on.
Nice.
Ooh. Any Art Adams Cloak and Dagger?
Oh, he's frozen for a minute. Oh, he's frozen. I'm trying to read the panel.
I'll tell you, he said he had a cover for the Dominguez cover. I might have to hit him up about that. Might be my first meeting.
It's got the.
Might try to buy a piece of original art at some point.
I like that Spider-Woman page a lot.
Yeah, that looked really good. I thought it was Dave Cockrum because I remember him doing a lot of early ones, and he's one of those guys that I kind of think it's also he's like the Copper Age guy, I would say, prior to like when Larry Stroman is up there too, though, for me.
Here's some cool Mike Zeck cover.
Oh yeah, that whole run.
Yeah, his Captain America run is pretty good.
That's Zeck. Yep, that's Beatty and Zeck, isn't it? Yeah, that's Beatty and Zeck.
That's my favorite of the ones you're showing.
Yeah, that's John Beatty and Zeck there. That's Zeck. Yep.
And I like this one a lot. No one talks about this one, but I love that one.
Yeah, that's solid. Yeah, I mean, I've had
They did a couple of good Batman covers there. He has one where they're Batman and another villain are way up above the skyline, above the city at night. I don't know if they're rappelling down a rope or something, but it's a really, really cool, cover by Zek. It's a Batman cover, and it's a nighttime scene over the city. It's got all the buildings, the windows lit up. It's real cool.
I think I have that. Yeah, let me see. I got that whole run he did. The 10 Nights of the Beast. Is it this one?
Yeah,
might be that one. He did another one that was similar too.
This
What?
one.
did Beatty work with Zek on that?
And this.
Was John Beatty doing? Was he following Zek around at DC?
Yeah, I like all those. Nights.
Yeah, that's a great run.
Yeah, that Captain America Mike Zek run. I mean, the writing of Captain America, I always say Ed Brubaker kind of 2005 changed the game, made Captain America cool. And then, but Mike Zek and John Beatty, I mean, talk about a team right there. Did good work on those Captain Americas. And you got Deathlock in there too, which was a George Perez character. I always tell everybody. What else we have?
Buckler didn't do him first.
Deathlock?
First,
Astonishing Tales 25, I think, was Perez.
I think I was a Buckler.
No, I would go with Buckler.
Buckler? Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure it was Buckler.
Zach did some great
yeah,
G.I. Joe covers.
Yeah.
I was listening to this art podcast, and they had a guy on there who has like tons of Zek covers, and he met him as a kid and just corresponded with him. And he would sell him like tons of G.I. Joe covers for $50 each. And he still has them all. So, my God. $50 for like this.
Good investment. A better investment than Apple stock.
Yeah.
It's Rick Buckler. George Perez did the last two. The origin of where he comes from, satire on the last page.
And I think, isn't that George Perez's first work?
No, his was Creatures on the Loose 34.
Yeah, that creature stuff with Manwolf.
What are you talking about? This?
Yeah, isn't that the first Perez art?
No, first Perez art is this, and I got him to sign it.
Says Buckler.
No, that's Buckler for sure.
Buckler did the pencils and the cover. Perez did a 2-page story in the back. That is the like the origin story of Deathlock.
Because I used to go to Rich Buckler's studio office in Manhattan, and he was making a living doing recreations at the time of that cover and FF. Good, like the Doctor Doom FF 142, 143. Yeah. That one. Yeah, I owned that cover at one time for a day. For one day of the thing coming off that that bound shackle thing, and and Dr. Doom's lair.
I was showing some of the Mike Zek's greatest hits. Did you have any of these? Yeah, Batman, the Beast storyline, great cover. And then
yeah, this is the first George Perez.
This one
work here, and it's the only signed one.
Yeah, that's pretty nice. I like that Cap Annual is one of my favorite Zach's.
Cap Annual 8, yeah.
And he has the most nicest guy, and he was the first guy to ever sign a book of mine on the cover, and he laid them out all nicely so they would. He's like, "Be careful now, they'll smear." And I had no idea, but he was like super, super nice.
He was really cool at Baltimore last year, a year ago. It was really cool. We were talking to him, and
very humble guy.
We would talk about bringing John Beatty on when we had John Beatty on Comic Core for a few times, doing live ink drawing while we were doing a show, on the Friday show. And Zach was there, and we were just talking, like we were waiting for people in the line. We was getting back from lunch or whatever, and we were just talking there. And he came over and just wondered, what are you guys talking about? We just started listening about stuff, and then we just started this literally, we were talking about that cover, the Captain America Annual 8, and he said, he goes, I probably signed the most of that. And then he turns around and he goes, but a lot now. Just what he says, he goes, if I have to sign another Secret Wars 8, Jesus Christ. He flat out said, he goes, I must have signed 150 of those things today. He goes, and he knows exactly where to sign each of the books. That's in the same spot every time. You got to respect guys like that know, that kind of understand where to sign. Steranko does that pretty well. Steranko says, he doesn't say, where should I sign it? He's like, I think I'll sign it best here. There are some people who just sign, like, no offense to Wrightson, but Wrightson just signed things, and half the book was his signature. Yeah, I've got that Doctor Strange one. I've got the 2. I mean, this is the best signature. I've got 5 signed CGC slab Bernie Wrightson books, and highest grade, and this is the best one. The only one you could see the whole signature on, which is in the word thing. I mean, I have a few.
I remember one time I was having Stan Lee sign some comics, and Max was handing them to him, and had a Hulk 1 in that batch, and Stan just put that black Sharpie right across Bruce Banner's face, the worst possible place. I was just stunned that before the day ended, I sold that book. I was so mad at it. I was so mad at that Hulk 1, damn it.
I get it.
Here's the Wrightson.
Yep, that's number 7. Yeah, that's a typical Wrightson there.
Yeah, Steranko has a beautiful signature. I mean, there's some guys that, back when I was a kid, they would open it and sign it on the first page. I just sold a FF3 that had, oh no, it wasn't an FF3. Was it an FF3? No, it's just a Stanley FF. But I have an FF that's signed by Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, and Dick Ayers, all on the Indentia splash page.
Nice.
They used to not sign them because they didn't want to deface the covers. But there's 3 guys that, off the top of my head, Joe Sinnott had a beautiful signature.
Yep.
I love Joe's signature on anything. I had him sign hundreds of books. I got along with his son really well. And, Steranko has a work of art for his signature. And, Michael Zeck there has a work of art for his signature.
I like his.
And Walt has Walt has style.
A dinosaur. Walt is a dinosaur. It's a dinosaur. It's a brontosaurus.
It's a piece of art because it's a dinosaur made out of a signature. It's real cool.
Yeah, if he draws a brontosaurus. When he was a kid, he liked dinosaurs so much, and I asked him why he did it, and he told me the story. And we'll get him to do that at Baltimore, tell the story. But he likes.
Are there any Shadow fans out there?
Yeah, there's a few Shadow.
Is that
fans.
Kaluta?
Yeah. It's not Kaluta though.
Looks good though.
Yeah.
Doesn't it look amazing? I got a couple Shadow pages in this deal.
Look at that. Kubert?
E.R. Cruz.
Mm.
I don't even know.
Yeah.
Looks good.
E.R. Cruz, but one of the Filipino guys, but it really does. I mean, the pages are just jamming. I mean, they really suit the character very well, the guy's style. And this people are, there might be, it's a kind of a quiet page, but people can fight over it. Look at that. John Romita Jr., but a beautiful, beautiful inking job. I think Dan Green.
Yeah. That's nice. Elegant.
Beautiful. Beautiful Storm. Where she first had the mohawk, and then she went back to having hair, and then now in her current incarnation she has a mohawk again. So, and then Hulk says doing deals with Anthony is no headache. I was going through a pile of stuff and found this that I had Herb do a long time ago. Herb was a good guy. I got along with him really well. He was a chaplain down on 9/11, down on the pile. They used to call it Ground Zero, for months after 9/11. And, seeing that piece really made me miss him, actually, because,
I like this guy's signature.
Todd's?
Yeah.
His
This was
Steranko.
1990. I should have had him sign 30, but
Yeah.
I had him sign this. I thought this was more cool because it was his first Spidey.
I have a Todd McFarlane Spawn sketch I had in 1993 done, and he was doing him in front in this. If you remember, Anthony, when that was going on, remember the tables on Fifth Avenue, across from the Times Square location of what now would be Midtown Comics, but it wasn't called it back then. It was called something else. But it was on Fifth, but not the one by Grand Central, the one by Fifth Avenue. And there were tables, and on those tables, Jim Lee was signing stuff, Todd McFarlane, Silvestri, Eric Larson, and
they
were
the
all
Image tour. They call it the Image tour. Yeah, I remember that.
They were sitting at literal picnic tables, and you just wait in line, and you got a copy of Spawn 1 if you didn't have 500 already, and you picked up a copy of Spawn 1, and then every once in a while, if McFarlane would draw sketches, it was pretty cool. He did Spawn sketches and stuff like that. Like I have a double Spawn sketch. It's over there somewhere, but here's Steranko's first work for Marvel. Not first work for Marvel. And he chose to sign it there, and it's just a classic signature there. And he signed it great there. I have a silver one to me, but I put it away because it's one of a kind. So actually,
can you show me Big real quick? I'll do a quick international signage version.
All right.
So I love my Japanese stuff. So I met this guy. He's the creator of Mega Man, and he signed this, but you could barely see it. It's terrible.
Oh,
his name's Hifune, but he made up for it and he's the creator of Mega Man. And
very cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Try getting one of these.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, one of the I mean, today some of the signatures I see today, Adam Hughes, you straight up suck. I'll say that to your face. Your signature's terrible, and so is JR Jr. Romita Jr. That JR. I love him.
Yeah.
I just think it.
And Jim Starlin's is a scribble. It's like,
I've got Jim on a few things, and I've got it. Well, here I have him. His artwork. I had him draw something for me. This is Perez.
I'm telling you, some baseball players had much better.
Signature was always good. Baseball players.
Some baseball players had way better signatures than comic artists.
No, some of them are terrible. I mean, nothing beats Mantle, DiMaggio, Ted Williams, Babe. Those classic signatures were great. Nowadays, you see some of these signatures; they're just all terrible.
One of my favorite signatures is Frank Frazetta. He has sort of two. He does just the regular one, Frazetta, where he double crosses the T. And then the other one he does, which I really like, almost looks like Celtic runes or something. It's like lines with circles over them, and you really can't make it out other than that he signed it. But it's like this really old, like Viking writing or something. It's really weird the way Frazetta's other is. It's just like these sort of cross-hatched lines with circles over them, and it's bizarre looking, and it's really cool. And especially when you see that signature on one of his pieces where it's a dark theme, and then that writing just goes right along with it. It looks like it's some ancient writing or something. It's really cool. I don't know.
Well, he signed just the F's after he had a stroke.
Yeah. This is another Wrightson signature. If you can see it, only over Patchwork Man's arm. You can see it, and you can see it if you're real close. I mean, still the highest grade signature on the census, but it's a bit much. I mean, I love Bernie, don't get me wrong, but Now the funny thing is, his plain signature on white paper is gorgeous. You know, his artwork signature is great, even with a Sharpie. So, but anyway, Thursday. Yep, that's the great Frazetta.
Yeah, I
yeah.
love that, man. It's so cool. He has like 3 different styles of signature where he writes his name, and this one is like, I don't know, 70, mid 70s one, I think, mostly. But that one's real cool.
I like this one.
Oh, J.O. Barr, nice.
Yeah.
It's a good
Joe
one.
Jusko's got a cool signature. It's kind of like the Frazetta-esque. And Sanjin. Actually, any of the painters are classy. Let's be honest.
Yeah, here's one he signed. This one, he really went out there. I don't know what it's on. I'm just looking
Wow.
on Google, but he wrote the first and last. You see what I mean? That's out there for a signature. That's, you know, a piece of art in and of itself. That's
Well,
so,
you know, who I've been looking for just signature is Bill Everett. He's got a nice one too, but I can't find nothing.
The only thing I know is on some pages on the back. I've seen some people talk about it.
And his signature is it's great.
yeah, I mean, he's got the 2 lines for the B and the
Yep.
and the big circle coming around, and then he has that big curvy E. Yeah, it's cool.
Well, tune in
Alright.
Thursday for that. Do you have anything else you want to show, Anthony?
Not right now. I just, we're gonna have a big production going. I'm gonna really do it upright to make this a nice kickoff event for mainstream and Baltimore Comic-Con. Tears my heart out every one of these big shows that don't happen. It's another batch of business that I'm not doing. So I'm looking forward to trying to make up for it.
Yep, I'll probably be producing that show. I think because I'll be producing the pregame for the Ringo Awards, and I think I'm doing the auction as well. I think I'm producing that.
Okay, great. Awesome.
I produced like 4 or 5 of them, big ones, so it's not a big deal. I'm real excited about it. I think it's going to be great. Legend's going to keep an eye on the claims. He's really good at that. And yeah, I think we're going to have fun. Tune in next week. We'll be back with everything. And don't forget to check out Anthony's Facebook page as well.
Yeah.
And
that's the one thing I wanted to plug.
Yeah. I keep an eye on his Facebook page, and it lets me know he had some cool interviews from New York City Comic-Con. A great one with Frank Cho. That it's funny. I saw Frank start that project, and finish, and you had him start a project. I watched him finish at Baltimore. It was the following week from New York.
The Ballpoint Beauties
Beauties, yeah. He was working on those at Baltimore the following week.
Yeah.
And I asked him about those, and he goes, "You wouldn't believe the amount of shit I take for this." It was just a great line he had,
Yeah.
But he says they take a long time.
I think it's funny that he was doing, these pieces that were, I was willing to pay $4,000 or $5,000 for, with a 3-cent pen, a 5-cent pen.
Yep.
I mean, that's his sense of humor. He's like, I'm going to do this with a 10-cent pen, and you're going to buy it for a couple thousand, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, and I think you're stupid and funny, and that's his sense of humor.
Yeah, I mean, I went over to him. I talked to him about some of his work that I enjoyed him doing, and I had him sign a few things. And I saw him doing that. I'm like, "Is this crazy?" He goes, "Big pens, big pens."
Yeah, 10-cent pens.
Yeah,
it's hilarious.
Yep.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you guys for all being here. See you guys next week on the show.
Yeah.
Thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and